She couldn't see the danger. He had nowhere else to go. She stood frozen in the middle of the road. No cane, no guide dog, no idea she was inches from being hit. Traffic screamed around her, horns blaring, engines roaring, but she didn't move. She was young, 16 maybe, thin, pale and barefoot. Her white dress clung to her legs in the cold wind, and her long dark hair blew across her face. But what stood out most were her eyes, open but unfocused, searching without seeing. Liam saw her from behind. A dumpster. He'd been crouching there all morning, trying to stay out of sight, trying to ignore the hunger twisting in his stomach. It was day 3 without a real meal, but something about her made his pain vanish. People walked by. They looked. Some slowed down. No one stopped. She turned her head slightly, confused, disoriented. "I think I'm lost," she said softly. Her voice barely heard above the city noise. Liam stood up. He didn't have a plan. He didn't have a home. What he had was a scar on his collarbone, a stolen hoodie, and more fear than most adults could imagine. But he also had a gut feeling she needed help, real help. He stepped into the street, lifting both hands like he was approaching a frightened animal. "Hey," he said gently, "you okay?" She turned her head toward his voice. I don't know. I got off at the wrong stop, and now everything smells different." He looked her over. "You're blind," she gave a small smile. "Is it that obvious?" Liam chuckled under his breath. "A little." "I'm Emily," she said, still rooted to the spot. "Emily Clark." "I'm Liam," he replied. "Liam Davis." A car honked loudly. Liam flinched and grabbed her arm, guiding her quickly to the sidewalk. "Thanks," she murmured. "I didn't mean to cause trouble." "You didn't," he said. "People just don't know what to do when someone's different." They walked in silence for a minute. She matched his steps without hesitation, as though she could sense every movement. "You know where you live?" Liam asked. "Sort of. I know it by smell. By the trees outside and the flower shop on the corner." "You live alone?" "My dad. We don't talk much." Liam didn't push. He could tell by her tone that it wasn't a happy home. He understood that all too well. 11 blocks. That's how far they walked, past bakeries and gas stations, past a busker playing a violin under the bridge, past people who wouldn't have given either of them a second glance. Emily talked most of the way, about how she lost her sight at age 8 from an infection, how her mother left when she was 10, how she used to dance even though she couldn't see. She made Liam forget, even for a moment, that he didn't have a future. When they reached her building, she stopped. "This is it. I can smell the lavender plant by the door." "You're right," Liam said, surprised. The heavy metal door creaked open. A tall man in a navy blue suit stepped out, phone pressed to his ear. When he saw Emily, his face twisted with relief, then with rage. "Emily, where the hell have you been?" She shrank back slightly. "I got lost." "With him." The man's eyes turned to Liam like he was filth. "He helped me. I would have been hit by a car," Emily said firmly. Her father marched over to Liam, grabbed his shoulder, and pulled him away from her. "You looking for money, kid?" "No," Liam muttered. "Then get lost. Don't ever come near my daughter again." Liam backed away. Emily's face turned toward him. "Wait, Liam," but the door slammed before he could say goodbye. Liam slept behind the diner that night. The same place he'd crashed for the past 2 weeks. The concrete was cold. The cardboard under him was wet. His stomach groaned with emptiness, but he didn't care. He kept thinking about her, her voice, her calm, the way she smiled like she could see something in him no one else could. The next morning, he woke to a shadow falling across his face. He blinked, groggy, expecting to see a cop or a diner worker ready to chase him off. It was Emily, wearing a coat too big for her, holding a thermos and a bag of food. "I brought breakfast," she said with a smile. Liam sat up, confused. "How did you find me?" I remembered the sounds, the grease from the diner, the music playing from the auto shop nearby, and your voice. He stared at her, stunned. "You shouldn't be out here." "I couldn't stay there," she said. Something happened. She sat beside him and pulled a folded paper from her pocket. It was torn and smeared with blood. Liam's stomach dropped. "What is that?" "It's from my mum," she said. "She left when I was 10. I thought she was dead." Emily handed it to him. It read, "Emily, if you're reading this, it means I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I found out what your father did, what he hid from both of us. You were never supposed to know, but the truth has to come out. I left everything to you, the house, the money, the name. Run, baby, they'll come after you. Don't trust anyone." A mum blood had soaked into the bottom corner. The ink had smudged. Liam's hands shook. "Emily, where's your dad?" She didn't answer right away. "I heard arguing last night," she whispered. "Then something slammed. When I came out of my room, he was gone. The back door was open. There was blood on the kitchen floor." "You called the police?" She shook her head. "I was scared. What if they thought I did something? I'm blind." "Liam, no one listens to blind girls." Liam ran his fingers through his messy hair, trying to think. This was way over his head. And yet, he couldn't leave her now. "You can stay with me," he said quietly, her head turned toward him. "Here," he nodded. "It's not much, but it's safer than being alone." Emily didn't hesitate. She curled up beside him, the giant coat wrapped around her small frame. They stayed like that all day, talking, dozing, listening to the sounds of the street. But as the sun began to set, something changed. Liam spotted a man in a dark coat across the road, watching. He wasn't panhandling. He wasn't walking. He was waiting. "Emily," Liam whispered, gently shaking her awake. "We need to move." "What? Why?" "There's someone watching us." She tensed instantly. "Describe him." "Bald, sunglasses, long coat, been staring at us for over 5 minutes." Emily's face went pale. "That's Uncle Travis." "Uncle? My dad's brother. He was always off. Mom never trusted him." The man across the street took one slow step forward. Liam grabbed Emily's hand. "Run!" They darted down the alley, weaving between trash bins and rusted metal gates. Emily kept up better than he expected, counting steps, trusting his voice, gripping his hand tight. They made it to the old church near 5th and Vine. No one used it anymore. The back door had been kicked in long ago. It was dark, cold, and dusty, but hidden. They barricaded the door with broken pews. Emily sat down, shaking. "I don't get it," she said. "Why now? Why did my mum leave that note?" Liam sat beside her, breathing hard. "Because someone's been lying to you," he said, "and they're willing to hurt people to keep that lie buried." He looked down at the blood-stained letter, still clutched in his hand. Who had bled on it? Her mom, her dad, or was something even darker unfolding? A stranger's voice, in the dark Emily, sat curled up beneath a broken stained glass window, her knees tucked to her chest. The cold air pressed in from every crack in the abandoned church walls, but she barely felt it. Her world had already gone. Dark years ago. Now it was silent too, except for the sound of Liam pacing nervously across the dusty floor. She broke the silence first. "You think he saw where we went?" Liam didn't answer right away. He stopped near a boarded-up confessional and listened. "I don't know," he admitted. "But if he's looking for you, he'll keep coming." Emily turned her head toward him, lips trembling. "But why? Why now? I've been invisible my whole life. What changed?" Liam crouched beside her. "That letter." She reached into her coat and handed it to him again. He unfolded the blood-stained note and reread every word. "I left everything to you. The house, the money, the name." He looked at her. "Do you know what she meant? The money?" Emily shook her head. "My dad always told me we were broke. That's why I never got to finish school or have a tutor. We couldn't even afford repairs on the heater." Liam's eyes narrowed. "That was a lie." "I know now," she whispered, "but I don't know where to begin." He was quiet for a long moment, thinking. "There's someone I know," he finally said. "She used to help out at the shelters. Ran a women's clinic. Her name's Miss Willer. If she's still around, maybe she can help us figure this out." Emily nodded. "If you trust her, I'll go." They waited for nightfall to deepen. Then Liam wrapped Emily in a blanket, stuffed the letter into his pocket and led her through the back alleys, avoiding street lamps and crowded roads. The city always felt different after dark, quieter but somehow more dangerous. As they passed a shuttered toy store, Liam heard something that made his blood go cold. Footsteps. Behind them, too steady, too deliberate. He pulled Emily tighter. "Keep walking," he whispered. They turned a corner, then froze. A man stood at the far end of the alley, not Travis, not a stranger. Liam recognized the face instantly. Mr. Cleaver, a caseworker from the state. He'd tried to force Liam back into the foster system last year, and Liam had run. "Liam," the man said, taking a step forward. "It's over. Come on. You're not safe out here." Liam grabbed Emily's hand. "We're leaving." "You're harboring a missing person," Cleaver called out. "Her father filed a report. There's blood at the scene." "If you run, you're guilty." Emily froze. "He reported me missing." "Emily Clark," Cleaver said, stepping forward. "You need to come with me. It's the safest option." But Liam's instinct screamed, "Don't trust him." "What's my full name?" Emily asked. Cleaver paused. "Emily Clark, like your father said." "My middle name," she snapped. No answer. "I never told anyone," she whispered to Liam. "My mom said to keep it private." "Run!" Liam yelled. They bolted. Cleaver shouted something behind them, but they didn't look back. Miss Willer's clinic sat between a pawn shop and a tire repair shop on the south side. It looked closed, but Liam banged on the side door until the light flicked on. The door creaked open. She was older now, grey hair tied up in a bun, wearing slippers and a robe. But her voice was sharp as ever. "Liam Davis, as I live and breathe." "I need your help," he said quickly. "Please." She let them in. The room smelled like lavender and rubbing alcohol. Posters lined the walls. Signs about abuse, trauma recovery, and shelters. "Who's this?" she asked, looking at Emily. Emily answered before Liam could. "Emily Clark. I think my mom left me an inheritance. My dad's missing, and someone's trying to hurt me." Miss Willer raised an eyebrow. "Start from the beginning." They told her everything. The blind girl in the street, the blood-stained letter, the man following them, the fake caseworker. When they finished, Miss Willer sat back and sighed. "This sounds like more than just a missing persons case." She stood and opened a filing cabinet, pulling out a dusty folder. "Your mom's name?" "Karen Clark." Willer opened her laptop and began searching old records. "Karen was a teacher," she muttered. "Disappeared 6 years ago. No case ever filed. That's odd." "She left us," Emily whispered. "Or she was forced to," Willer replied. "Let's find out what she left behind." Liam looked over her shoulder. An address popped up. An old safety deposit box, registered to Karen Clark at Greenstone Bank. "Could it still be there?" Liam asked. "If no one claimed it, yes," Willer said. "But only next of kin can access it." Emily's hands tightened. "Then I have to go." The next morning, Willer gave them clean clothes, fake IDs, and a burner phone. She wasn't just a nurse. She'd helped women vanish from violent homes for years. She knew all the tricks. "I'll call ahead to the bank," she said. "Say you're coming with legal counsel. They won't question it if I vouch." "You're doing all this for me?" Emily asked. Miss Willer smiled. "I've met a lot of liars in my time, child. You're not one of them." She paused. "But watch your back. If that letter is real, someone's been hiding a fortune. And those people don't go down without a fight." They took the subway. Across town. Emily clutched Liam's arm, head down. When they reached Greenstone Bank, Willer met them at the front door with a sharp navy coat and a fake badge. "Just follow my lead." Inside, the clerk looked nervous, but compliant. Willer showed the forged legal papers and gave Emily's full name. The vault was cold, sterile. A single steel box slid out. Emily reached in with trembling hands. Inside was a notebook, a flash drive, and a photograph. She handed the photo to Liam. Showed her mother, young, radiant, standing next to a man who was not Emily's father. "This is your real dad," Willa whispered. "Karen was hiding more than money." Liam opened the notebook. Page after page was filled with names, dates, bank accounts, real estate deeds, a secret empire, property, offshore accounts, trusts in Emily's name. And at the bottom of the last page was a single phrase: "If anything happens to me, trust no one named Clark." They left the bank in silence. Only when they reached the alley behind the cafe did Emily speak. "My dad isn't my dad." Liam shook his head. "Looks like he was using your mum's wealth, controlling her, then probably killed her." Emily bit her lip, trying not to cry. "And now he's missing, or maybe hiding." Liam turned to Willa. "What do we do?" Willa looked grim. "We get you out of here. We go public. We expose everything." Before she could say more, a bullet shattered the window beside them. "Down!" Liam shouted, pushing Emily to the ground. Willa ducked behind a dumpster. A black car screeched around the corner. Doors opened, and out stepped Uncle Travis, gun in hand. "You should have stayed lost, girl." Liam pulled Emily behind a crate. "We need to run, but this time..." Emily stood up. "No." Her voice was steady, calm, cold. "I know who I am now," she said. "You don't get to scare me anymore." Travis laughed. "Brave talk for a blind girl." "I might not see," she said, "but I know cowards by sound." Sirens wailed in the distance. Travis swore and backed into the car. "Next time," he snarled, and sped off. Back at the clinic, Willa called an old contact at the press. "They'll meet you tonight," she told Emily. "Tell them everything. Show the notebook, the letter, the flash drive." Emily held Liam's hand. "You'll be with me, right?" "Always," he said quietly. She turned toward him, her eyes sightless but sure. "I used to think I needed someone to save me," she whispered. "But maybe all I needed was someone who believed me." He smiled. "I believe you." The clinic lights flickered as the sun went down, and for the first time since her world went dark, Emily Clark felt light rising inside her. The truth in the flash drive. The flash drive felt small in Emily's trembling hands, but she knew it carried the weight of everything, her past, her future, and the truth someone had tried to bury. They sat in Miss Willa's office that night, the lights dimmed, windows covered. Liam hovered over Willa's old laptop, while Emily sat near him, her hands folded, breathing shallowly. "Are you ready?" he asked. Emily nodded. Liam inserted the drive and clicked open the only file inside. One folder, titled "E. Clark Trust Inside," were dozens of scanned documents, bank transfers, legal agreements, forged signatures, private correspondence, and 3 video files. Willa leaned forward. "Start with the videos." Liam clicked the first. The screen flickered to life. A dimly lit room appeared. Karen Clark sat at her desk, eyes red, hair pulled back, visibly shaken. "If you're watching this," she said, "I'm probably gone." Emily inhaled sharply. "I need to explain everything to you, Emily. You were never meant to live in fear, but I couldn't protect you and hide the truth forever." Karen pulled a small journal into frame, the same one they'd found in the bank box. "Your real father was a good man. He passed away in an accident when you were 3. After that, I made the worst decision of my life. I turned to someone I thought I could trust, my brother-in-law." "Travis." Willa froze. "Brother-in-law?" Emily's lips parted in shock. "Travis isn't just a friend, he's..." "Family," Liam finished grimly. The video continued. "He helped me manage your inheritance, said the lawyers were too greedy. I was grieving. I let him in. And then... I couldn't get out." Karen swallowed hard. "I suspect he killed your father. The evidence was destroyed. Then he turned on me, cut me off, controlled everything. He said if I told anyone the truth, he'd take you away from me." Tears slipped down Emily's face. So I stayed quiet. I played the role. But I made a plan. I left everything in a private trust with a clause that activates the day you turn 18, or if I go missing under suspicious circumstances. Emily, if you're seeing this, you have power now. You are the legal owner of everything, and you must expose him. The screen went black. No one spoke for a full minute. Liam clicked the second video. It was shorter. Karen held up a legal document with Emily's name at the top and a signature. This is your declaration of ownership. It overrides everything. Travis has forged. It's registered with an offshore firm. Willa knows who to contact. Willa's eyebrows lifted. She trusted me that much? Emily turned her face toward her. She knew you'd help me. Liam clicked the third video. It was a blurry security recording. A tall man, Travis, stood over Karen, yelling. He shoved her. She fell. The timestamp read 2:41 a.m., 6 years ago. It cut off. That's the night she vanished, Emily whispered. Willa stood abruptly. I'm calling the police. No, Emily said, surprising them both. Not yet. Why not? Willa asked. We have proof now. Emily's voice was firm. We go public. If we hand this over quietly, Travis disappears. He's slippery, remember. But if the world sees this, he can't run. Liam smiled faintly. You've changed. No, she whispered. I just finally opened my eyes. The local journalist, Karen Wu, arrived just before midnight. She was sharp-eyed, polite and cautious. I need to verify everything, she said after they told her the story. Liam handed over the drive, the letter, and the video files. Karen's mouth twitched. This is explosive. Financial crimes. Abuse, possibly murder. She turned to Emily. Are you ready to go public? Once we publish, there's no going back. Emily lifted her chin. Let's do it. Karen nodded. I'll fast-track the story. Check the local news tomorrow morning. They didn't sleep that night. Willa stayed up making backup copies of the flash drive. Liam kept watch at the windows. Emily sat alone with the notebook, her fingers tracing the pages like braille. As dawn broke, Liam stepped outside to get air. He didn't see the man watching him from across the street. By 8 a.m., it was everywhere. Blind teen girl inherits. Hidden empire. Video ties uncle to mother's disappearance. The story spread like wildfire. Talk shows picked it up. Online forums debated it. Emily's name was suddenly on everyone's lips. That afternoon, Willa's clinic received a call from a private investigator named Jonas Reed. I worked with Karen before, he said. She paid me to gather evidence, but I lost contact. You still have some files. I think the girl is in danger. Emily agreed to meet him. They chose a quiet cafe across town. Liam and Willa went with her, never letting her out of their sight. Jonas was mid-50s, tall, calm, with a limp. He slid a manila envelope across the table. Travis didn't work alone, he said quietly. He has help. Someone on the legal side, someone who's been erasing documents, altering court files, even suppressing police reports. He opened the folder. Inside were names, lawyers, judges, bankers, a quiet web of people who had benefited from the Clark family's fall. Jonas tapped one name, Judge Arlo Benton. He signed off on the adoption papers when Travis claimed full custody of Emily as a minor, despite no record of Karen's death. Emily's breath caught. They buried her paperwork, Jonas said. Legally, your mother doesn't even exist anymore. Liam stood up. Then we dig her out. 2 days later, Emily and Liam visited the city records office. With help from Jonas and a very nervous clerk, they uncovered what they hoped never to find: a death certificate filed 6 years ago, cause of death, overdose, no autopsy. Signed by Judge Benton, but the hospital listed on the form had no record of Karen Clark ever being admitted. The certificate was fake. She never died, Emily whispered. He just erased her. Maybe not entirely, Liam murmured. tapping the edge of the screen. "Look at this, another file. A patient registered under the name Jane Doe. Same night, same blood type, same injuries. She was admitted under a fake name," he said. "But she lived." Emily clutched his arm. "Do you think she's still alive?" Willa's voice echoed in her mind. "You are the legal owner of everything." Emily nodded. "Slowly. If she's alive," she said, "I'm going to find her." But they weren't the only ones searching. That night, while Willa went to meet Karen Wu for a second interview, Liam and Emily stayed behind at the clinic. At 1:14 a.m., the power went out. Liam reached for his flashlight. "Stay close!" But before he could turn it on, someone smashed through the back door. 2 figures, black clothes, covered faces. Liam shoved a chair toward them and grabbed Emily's hand. "Run!" She sprinted blindly into the hallway as chaos erupted behind. A man tackled Liam. Emily crashed into a filing cabinet. Glass shattered around her, then a hand yanked her back. "Travis, face to face. I warned you," he hissed. She struggled. "You killed her." "I protected you," he growled. "You were mine, and now you're just an asset I have to clean up." He raised a syringe, but before he could plunge it into her arm, crack! A broom handle smashed into his head. "Liam!" Travis staggered. Emily kicked blindly, connecting with his leg. He fell. Sirens wailed outside. The men ran. Liam pulled Emily to her feet. "You okay?" She nodded, shaking. "That was close." Hours later, at the police station, a detective handed Emily a folder. It contained a photo. A woman with scars on. Her arms, graying hair, but unmistakably to Karen Clark. "She's alive," the detective said. "She's at a long-term care home under state protection. She's nonverbal, but stable." Emily collapsed into Liam's arms. "She survived," she whispered. "Barely," the detective replied. "And now she needs you." The next morning, Emily visited the care home. She stood by the bed, holding the hand of the woman who once told bedtime stories in a soft voice and sang lullabies when storms frightened her. "Mom!" "Do," she whispered. Karen's eyes flickered open. They filled with tears. She couldn't speak, but she didn't have to. Emily leaned in close. "I know everything now. I'm going to finish what you started." Back at Willa's clinic, Liam watched the news replay the headline, "Travis Clark, named prime suspect in Karen Clark disappearance and financial fraud. Manhunt underway." But something about the footage made him uneasy. He paused the video. Rewound. There, behind the camera crew, stood a figure watching from a distance. Not Travis, someone else. Tall, broad shoulders. A tattoo peeking from beneath his sleeve. Liam's chest tightened. "Emily," he said slowly, "I think your father's death wasn't an accident." She turned her head. "What do you mean?" He pointed to the screen. "Because that man, right there, he was at your house the night I found you." Her face paled. "And I don't think Travis was the one pulling all the strings." Shadows behind the throne. Emily sat frozen, her fingers wrapped tightly around the armrest of Willa's old recliner. On screen, the paused video showed the silhouette Liam had pointed out, tall, broad, and unmistakably out of place. "That man," Liam whispered, tapping the screen, "was standing outside your old house the night I found you. He watched from the alley when you ran. I saw the tattoo then too." Emily's throat tightened. "Do you know who he is?" Liam hesitated. "No, but he's not random. He's connected to all of this, maybe even higher up than Travis." Willa entered the room with fresh tea and caught the tension immediately. "What's wrong?" Liam explained quickly. Willa's face stiffened. "I've seen him before too," she said quietly. "Years ago. He came to the clinic looking for your mother, Emily. Said he was a friend of the family. Gave no name. No, I didn't trust him." Emily turned toward the sound of her voice. "What if Travis isn't the mastermind? What if he was just a puppet?" Willa sighed. "Then we need to find the puppeteer." That evening, Willa got a call from Karen. "Woo, the journalist. I've been digging into Travis's financial ties," she said, "and I found something strange. Several payments made to a man named Dorian Vex, ex-military, no listed address, but heavily connected to private security firms." She paused. "He's also listed as a silent partner in a company called Riven Group." Willa blinked. "That name sounds familiar." Karen's voice sharpened. "It should. Riven Group owns half the properties in your district, and guess who's listed on their board? Who? Judge Arlo Benton." Willa covered the mouthpiece. "Emily, the judge who declared your mom dead. He's working with Dorian Vex." Emily clenched her fists. "They erased my mother, tried to erase me, and they've done it before." Karen continued. "I've scheduled an interview with someone who used to work for Riven Group. She says she has records, proof of fraud, maybe even murder, but she's scared. She'll only talk in person." "Where?" Willa asked. "Midtown Library, basement level, noon tomorrow." Emily nodded slowly. "We'll be there." The next day felt like a trap from the start. Liam insisted on taking a different route, avoiding main streets. Emily walked beside him, her white cane tapping nervously. "You don't have to come," she said. "I promise to help you," Liam replied. "Besides, I've got good instincts." Emily smiled faintly. "I trust those more than most lawyers." They arrived early. The library was quiet, its marble halls echoing with whispers. The basement level was nearly empty, save for rows of old newspapers and microfilm readers. Karen Wu waited near the archives, glancing around nervously. "She's late," Karen muttered. "Said she'd be here at 11:55. At exactly 12:04, a woman slipped into the room. Mid-30s, messy bun, nervous energy. Her name was Tess Harding, former accountant at Riven Group. She carried a worn briefcase and spoke in whispers. "I only have a few minutes." Karen opened her notebook. "Tell us everything." Tess glanced over her shoulder. "They launder money through shell charities, real estate scams. But the worst part, there's a list of children. Kids with large inheritances who suddenly ended up in state custody or worse." Emily's breath hitched. "Your name was on the list," Tess said, eyes wide. "So was your mother's. I think they track families with assets and take them out, slowly, cleanly." Karen's hand trembled as she wrote. Tess reached into her briefcase and pulled out a thumb drive. "This has everything. Bank ledgers, internal memos, emails, but be careful, someone's been erasing files already. They know I took this." Liam stepped forward to take it. That's when the lights cut out. Darkness flooded the room. Emily's heart slammed in her chest. "Liam? Stay down," he ordered, voice sharp. Karen cursed under her breath. "This isn't random. A crash," shouting upstairs, then footsteps rushing down the stairs. Emily ducked behind a bookshelf. Liam pulled her low. Tess cried, "Out." "No, no, please!" A gunshot echoed. Karen screamed. Liam yanked Emily through a back emergency door. Alarms shrieked, but they ran, Emily gripping his arm, trusting his steps completely. Outside, sirens wailed in the distance. But Tess was gone. That night, back at Willa's clinic, the drive was opened on an encrypted laptop. Tess's files were real, bank records, names, transfers, and a chilling spreadsheet titled Project Orphan, over 40 names, all teenagers, all listed as legally blind, disabled, or mentally unfit to manage assets, all marked Target Acquired. Emily's name was at the top. She tried to expose them, Willa whispered. And they silenced her. Karen nodded grimly. "And now they're coming for you." Emily felt her rage boiling. "Then we stop hiding." That evening, Emily made a video. No makeup, no filters, just her voice. "My name is Emily Clark. When I was 12, my mother vanished. When I turned 16, I was made homeless. I was told I had nothing, but it was all a lie. There's a group out there that targets vulnerable teens. They take everything, your family, your money, your future, but they can't take our voices, not if we speak together." To anyone out there who feels erased, I see you, and I won't be silent anymore. The video went viral within hours. Celebrities shared it. Advocacy groups demanded an investigation. But the real consequence came at midnight. Willa's clinic. Phone rang. A man's voice spoke on the other end. "You made a mistake, Emily." "Who is this?" "You should have stayed blind." Click. The next day, Liam checked the video frame again. The man with the tattoo. He enhanced the image, ran it through facial recognition using a hacked public tool. The result stunned him. Dorian. Vex, former intelligence, expelled for rogue operations. Last known address, a private island owned by Riven Group. Liam pulled up an old news article. Vex had once been called the ghost of corporate warfare. The kind of man who didn't just destroy people, he erased them. "He's the real enemy," Liam said. "Not Travis, not Benton. Vex is the one pulling strings." Emily stood up. "Then it's time we cut the strings." They leaked the files to the press, to government watchdogs, to advocacy lawyers. Karen Wu's article dropped at dawn. Blind teen exposes billion-dollar abuse ring. Project Orphan tied to judges. Executives and rogue operatives. There was no stopping it now, but there would be retaliation. That night, Liam returned to the clinic from a grocery run. He paused at the gate. The door was open. He rushed inside. "Willa?" No answer. He found the kitchen in disarray. Papers scattered. Emily's cane on the floor. A single word was carved into the wall. Pay back. Liam's heart stopped. He ran upstairs. Empty. He called Willa. No signal. Then he found Emily's phone near the back garden. Screen cracked. A video was still playing. A masked man stood behind Emily, who sat tied to a chair, blood on her lip. Vex's voice echoed through the feed. "You want the truth, Emily? Then come find me. Alone. Or she dies." The screen went black. Into the lion's mouth. Emily stood in the clinic's ruins, her breathing shallow, her pulse crashing in her ears. The image of Willa, bloodied, gagged, held by a ghost named Dorian Vex, seared into her brain. Liam's voice trembled beside her. "We need to go to the police." "No," Emily said, too calm for how much she was shaking. "If we go to the police, Willa dies. Vex owns half of them. He wants me, just me." Liam gritted his teeth. "Then I'm going with you." Emily turned to face him. "You saved me once, but this, I have to do alone. If he sees you, he'll think it's a trap." "Emily, this is suicide." She reached out, finding his hand. "In the dark. If it is, at least I die doing something that matters." They planned fast. Karen Wu secured a burner phone and helped track the origin of the ransom video. It had pinged near an abandoned shipping yard just outside the city. By 3 a.m., Emily stood at the edge of the dock, the wind cutting through her like knives. She wore a hidden wire, transmitting everything to Liam's laptop parked 5 blocks away in a nondescript van. The yard was quiet, too quiet. Then a black SUV rolled forward, its headlights off. The door opened. 2 men stepped out, armed. Behind them, Vex, tall, built like a wall of secrets. His voice was low and deliberate. "You brought nothing," he said, amused. "No cops, no backup. That's why I respected your mother." Emily didn't flinch. "Where's Willa?" Vex gestured to the warehouse behind him, alive for now. "Why me?" Emily asked. "Why target kids like me?" Vex's smirk twisted. "Because no one cares about homeless teens. No one believes blind girls can fight back. You're easier to disappear." "You were wrong," Emily said, chin high. "I'm still here." Vex stepped closer. "Your mother said the same thing before we buried her in a place no one will ever find." Emily's heart cracked, but she didn't blink. "Then I guess it's my turn to make you disappear." She clenched a small button in her palm, triggering the signal. Suddenly, the dock lights exploded to life. Sirens, dozens of red and blue lights. FBI jackets swarming the yard. Liam's voice came through the wire. "We got everything. The wire recorded it all. Vex's eyes narrowed. "You little..." Before he could finish, one of his own men grabbed him. Undercover agent. The other dropped his weapon, surrounded. Emily staggered back, hands shaking. "Willa!" she shouted. A team stormed the warehouse. Minutes later, Willa emerged, dazed but alive, bruised but smiling. Emily collapsed into her arms, sobbing. "You did it," Willa whispered. "You brought the monster down." In the weeks that followed, the story rocked the country. Karen Wu's headline dominated media. Blind teen exposes orphan conspiracy. Corrupt judge, billionaire CEO, and ex-operative indicted in national scandal. Emily became a household name, not a victim, but a warrior. Riven Group dissolved. Judge Benton was arrested. Travis turned state's witness. Vex would likely never see daylight again. But one mystery remained. Emily sat in a courtroom hallway, clutching a sealed envelope. Inside, DNA test results. Karen had pulled strings to get the lab work done. Willa sat beside her. "You're not ready?" she asked. Emily shook her head. "Part of me wants to believe my mother's alive, that she survived Vex." Willa reached over. "Whatever the truth is, you've already honored her." Emily opened the envelope. She read the results. Her hands fell into her lap. She didn't speak. Just a tear, then a nod. Willa understood. 1 week later, Emily stood on the steps of the courthouse, speaking at a press conference. "We think people without homes, without sight, without families, don't have power. But the truth is, our stories are power. To every kid out there who thinks they're invisible, I see you, and we will not be erased again." She turned and walked off the stage. Free. The light we carried. 3 months had passed since the docks. Vex was gone. The Riven Group empire was dust. Judge Benton's secret prison pipeline had been exposed, and dozens of missing teens were found. Most alive, some just names carved into the walls of forgotten warehouses. Emily's story had triggered a reckoning across the country. But in the quiet moments, Emily still felt haunted, not by Vex, by questions. Who was she before the streets, before the fear, before the fight? And who would she be now, with the world watching? She and Willa had been placed in a temporary group home. A peaceful one, with actual counselors and real beds. Liam visited often. Karen Wu dropped off books and media kits. Offers flooded in from non-profits, interviewers, even a film studio wanting the rights to her story. But Emily said no to most of them. She wanted something real first. One quiet morning, she sat on the porch with Liam, listening to the birds. "And the wind in the trees. I don't know how to live like this," she admitted. "Not being hunted, not looking over my shoulder." Liam smiled gently. "You learn, you breathe, you build." "I don't want to be famous," she added. "I want to matter." He nodded. "Then let's find a way." They started small. Willa came up with the name, the Light We Carry Foundation, their mission to find lost children, support at-risk teens, and offer safety where the system had failed. Not charity, justice in motion. Karen helped them secure grants. Liam handled tech. Emily, despite everything, became the face, not because she wanted to, but because no one could tell the story like she could. She visited juvenile centers, shared her story at shelters. Each time she told it, kids listened. Not because it was dramatic, but because she understood them. Their silence, their rage, their hope. Then one night, everything changed again. It started with a letter, mailed to the Foundation's P.O. box. No. Return address. Inside, a photo, a girl, maybe 9 years old, blindfolded, crying, scrawled on the back, "There are more. You stopped one, but I'm still watching." No signature. Emily froze. Her breath left her. She showed it to Willa, to Liam, Karen, forwarded it to federal agents. They took it seriously, but Emily knew This wasn't Vex, it was someone else, someone who picked up where the monster left off. She faced a choice, hide again or step forward. She chose forward. "I'm not afraid," she told the press. "If someone thinks fear can silence me, they haven't been paying attention." She organized a nationwide tour, called it Project Searchlight. Every stop she met survivors, kids like her, adults who'd once been forgotten. Families still searching, she gave them tools, resources, and most of all, hope. The foundation tripled in size. An anonymous donor offered a mansion in upstate New York to convert into a full-time healing center for exploited teens. And Emily? She finally visited her mother's grave. It was deep in Pennsylvania. A forensic team had identified the remains Vex tried to erase. DNA confirmed it. The marker was simple: Julia Rain's beloved mother. Never broken. Emily stood before the stone, a quiet wind brushing her cheek. "I did it, Mom," she whispered. "I found her. I stopped him, and I'm still going." She knelt down, placed her fingers on the cold stone. "I know now. I wasn't abandoned. You died fighting for me." Tears spilled freely. "But I lived, and I'll make sure that means something." Later that night, she sat at the center's library, blindfolded, an exercise Willa encouraged to connect to her perspective. She listened. Kids laughing, doors closing, rain tapping windows, the soft creak of a new arrival stepping into a place that promised light instead of fear. Willa approached and sat beside her. "You okay?" she asked softly. Emily smiled. "Better than okay." "Do you think it's over?" Emily removed the blindfold, eyes shining. "No, but I'm ready for whatever comes next." Epilogue. A year later, a girl stood outside the gates of the light. Wicari Center. She was filthy, alone, eyes scanning the place nervously. A volunteer spotted her, walked up smiling gently. "Hi, you hungry?" The girl nodded. The volunteer handed her a sandwich, then asked her name. She whispered, "Cassie." The volunteer offered a hand. "Welcome home, Cassie." Inside, in an office lined with letters and photos, a newspaper clipping sat framed on the wall. "Blind girl rescued, homeless teen becomes national hero." The light they carried became a fire that saved thousands. Emily stood nearby, watching from a hallway window. She turned to, "Willa, you ready for another one?" Willa smiled. "Always." Final lesson. Sometimes the people the world forgets are the ones who change it. It's not the past that defines you. It's what you do with the pain. And sometimes being broken doesn't mean you're ruined. It means you've got pieces strong enough to rebuild the world.